The constitution has been amended previously and is legal to do so. So, the political slugfest over amending the constitution relevant? Congress leader, as I said, Priyanka Gandhi, while on a campaign in Rajasthan, charged Bharatiya Janata Party of wanting to amend the constitution. She said that the media must question Prime Minister Narendra Modi why his party leaders keep saying that they will change the constitution.
उनके जो नेता हैं हर जगह जाके ये क्यों कह रहे हैं कि संविधान को बदलने वाले हैं? सुनिए कि आप उनसे पूछिए ना कि संविधान को बदलने वाली बात उन्हीं के नेता क्यों कर रहे हैं? ये बात उभरी कहां से और इस बात का मतलब क्या है? अगर किसी को डरना नहीं चाहिए तो इसका मतलब क्या है? क्योंकि जब संविधान बदलेंगे तो आरक्षण को क्या होगा? जब संविधान बदलेंगे तो ये जो अधिकार है जो सबका है इस देश में कि चाहे प्रधानमंत्री हो चाहे छोटे से छोटा किसान हो उसका वोट का अधिकार है, इसका क्या होगा? तो इसका जवाब देना। ये कहना काफी नहीं है कि डरिए मत, हम तो वैसे भी नहीं डरते।
However, it is important to note that the Indian constitution has been amended 106 times since 1950s. The first amendment was made in 1951 before the first Lok Sabha election in the country was held. It was done by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and he amended right to free speech. And then he put the reasonable restrictions. The 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, which is also known as the mini constitution, added the words secular and socialist and integrity to the preamble. This amendment was made during emergency without any debate and Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. Almost 90% of the amendments to the constitution have been made by the Congress government. So why is Congress saying that the BJP and Prime Minister Modi wants to change the constitution and somehow the subtext is, it's detrimental to democracy? Prime Minister Modi on the other hand has been very, very categorical that the BJP has no intention of making any basic changes. But let me tell you, constitutions can be amended. There is nothing illegal in it. Constitution is a social contract. That is why these special graphics have been made. Privy purses were abolished because of the constitutional amendment. The zamindari system in India was abolished because of an amendment in constitution. 9th schedule was created to protect land reforms from judicial review. More important than that, the right to vote, Panchayati Raj system, women reservation, I can just go on and on and on. Most of them were constitutional amendments. So what is the constitutional amendment which the opposition party leaders are saying? Well, that's one thing. So in this debate, I am joined by Bhanuchandra Nagarajan, political analyst, Dr. Sujit Thakur, associate professor, Delhi University, and Dr. Rajiv Nanda, senior advocate, Supreme Court, and constitutional expert. But first to Brijesh, why is there so hullabaloo over the constitution? Constitution in itself, the 35% of it, or maybe 30% of it, has been inherited from the 1935 Government Act of India. Constitution in itself as a body has undergone multiple changes. But why in this election it has become such a campaign point?
Karthikeya, the thing is that there has been no clarification from the Congress party as to which aspect of the constitution which they fear is going to be altered by the government of India or by the BJP, as they say. There's no clarity on it. I think one of the fear or the point of the Congress party is that if there is an impending decision by the party once they win this election, that the BJP will alter the constitution and they will remove the secular word from the constitution which was brought in as part of the amendment which was carried out. Now what has happened is that the Prime Minister and Amit Shah, Home Minister Amit Shah and other top BJP functionaries have made it very, very clear that there is no chance that they are going to tinker with the basic structure doctrine of the constitution, whereas the basic structure is going to be altered in any which way. But the biggest problem is that BJP has faced in several cases. There are certain loudmouths which are completely undoing what the party top leadership is saying.
Is it because of the fact, if you recall, after 2014, I think on Baba Saheb Ambedkar's birthday, when Arun Jaitley was the minister and in charge of the parliamentary affairs also, there was an exhibition which was organized, the first controversy which took place. So they put the original draft of the constitution in which the word secular and socialist was not there.
Absolutely.
Because Indira Gandhi had
that
inserted that
fear
in the preamble. So is it because of that?
I think the fear is that only that you know that the BJP will amend the constitution, remove the word secular from there. But you know the Prime Minister has said time and again that this is something which will not happen. But as we have seen in certain instances, you know there are several loudmouths within the party which go on to undo what the Prime Minister.
Bhanu, you know, I had a conversation with then the former Vice President and Mr. Ansari, and he said even if you remove the word, when I had gone to interview him because he had written a book, he said even if you remove the word, the country will remain secular. That's one. And secondly, I mean, so if the constitution needs to be amended, it needs to be amended. No one is making into a presidential government. It's a parliamentary system.
Absolutely. See, Karthikeya, I've been traveling in parts of UP and Bihar over the last couple of weeks, and this is such a non-issue. It doesn't resonate with people at all. They have more earthy issues to contend with, and it is for intellectuals and elites to debate. But nevertheless, intellectuals and elites have to be useful to the society, and this is perhaps a forum for that. But it's absolutely a non-electoral issue.
दुनिया बहुत अजीब हो गई है. Guests are traveling all over the world, and journalists are phased in studio. कमाल हो गया ये तो. मतलब you are the one who is traveling.
Yeah, so secondly, the constitution is not a relic. Like you mentioned, it has been amended 106 times. There are the Sruti and Smriti elements to it. And if the will is strong enough, we can amend the constitution based on the rules. So there is nothing sacrosanct about it, which is something you mentioned. Third is like what Vijesh mentioned, like what is the bogeyman about the constitution, right? If they want to say that they are worried that secularism will be taken away, they should say it very clearly. But if you look at the clip that was played a few minutes ago, she mentioned about like right to vote and reservation and all that. That is absolutely wrong. It is a very false propaganda, and Congress should not do it. If they think that secularism is going to be removed, they should say it, but they won't say it because they were the ones that made the secularism a bad word in the first place. Back to you.
Okay, Dr. Nanda, what's the hullabaloo over the constitution?
It is totally unnecessary controversy because the elections are around the corner. To amend or not to amend is the prerogative of the ruling party if they have the requisite majority in the parliament. And the amendments are not carried out just like that. They are the need of the hour. If there is a need for amending the constitution is amended. That is what the previous governments, whether it was the Congress government or the NDA, whichever government they were, they have, as and when it was required to be amended, they have amended. But there is one thing very basic to the thing that nobody is paying attention to this, that the constitution cannot be amended just like that. After the Keshwananda Bharati, the constitution judgment, the constitution, the basic structure of the constitution cannot be touched. Exactly. Even if there is a propaganda by some parties today, I will not name, that there is a hunch that the BJP or the NDA, if they come into the power, they will remove the word secular. I mean, it doesn't make much difference. It doesn't take us anywhere. Even if the word from the constitution's preamble, the secular word is taken off, the constitution has to be seen as a total one single document, not one particular word. Our rights or the rights of the minority or the other people are not dependent on one particular words of the preamble. It's a total constitution. And I just said that no government, no matter what it is, they do have the right to amend the constitution if there is a need to do that. And if the constitution is not amended as per the law, then the courts are open. If the basic structure is affected, then of course the court will strike it down, that such amendment. Where is the fear? The unnecessary, it is just election propaganda, which I feel is going on at the moment there. And why now? This fear was going on since ever the NDA government came into power. And now it is the hullabaloo has been created about it. I don't think that there is much about it.
Okay, Dr. Thakur also joins me. Dr. Thakur, is the fear around disenfranchisement, that's the whole issue? Disenfranchisement, that's the subtext.
Also, see, what I try to tell you, the changing of the constitutions and amending the constitution are two different things. And if you see from 1949 to till date, it is not just a small leader like Anand Hegre and the Vivek Devarai, the advisors of the Prime Ministers, who made this kind of a statement and written a lot of things. that we need to change the new constitution. But the top brass of the BJP from 1949 to till date have been always demanding that this constitution is outdated, this constitution is just a colonial legacy, and we want to change it, we want to bring it change. Therefore, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee government was elected in 1998, the prime, and once again they constituted the body for the Constitutional Review Committee by the then Chief Justice of India, Venkat Chalaiya. That time they have, because they have a coalition government, therefore they have not used the term to change, but they said we would like to see the performance of the 50 years of our constitution, whether they would fulfill the aspiration of the people or whether they would not fulfill the aspiration of the people. So we have to review it. But right now the situation is completely different. BJP are telling they are going to cross the 400 marks of the parliamentary seats and they are going to change the constitution. See, so this is not what the opposition are accusing or any apprehension in. Because if you see the Dattabhai Hospitale to Sudarshan, Sudarshan, when he was the top brass, top leader, he was clearly telling to the in his sermons and in his speech and in his writing, clearly made it this thing very clear. You see, the France has made a 4-time constitutional reform, and this is the colonial legacy, and we would not want to see this constitution. We want to change it. Equally, Dattatreya Hospitale, who is supposed to be a next assistant Chalak, he has openly, categorically tell we want to change the constitution. Equally, in 1949, the mouthpiece of the RSS organizer has clearly categorically said that in his editorials that we are not going to accept this constitution. So the apprehension is not in air, and you can't say, see, this is the apprehension, or this is the just elections gimmick and all this. That cannot be substantiate the argument which have been generated by the RSS political organ, the BJP from 1949 to till date. And this started when in 15th August, when the Vivek Devarai have written a clear article why we want to change this constitution. He's the advisor of the Prime Minister. Of course, the PMO has made a statement. This is the personal opinion of the Vivek Devarai. But Vivek Devarai is not a simple person.
Okay.
Equally, Anand Thackeray, you can say the State Minister. So what I try to tell you, you see, of course, there is an agenda in the BJP mindset. They want to change it, but what kind of change they want, that one has to see. Because there is a narrative, and how one can build up the narratives, that we have to see. Because see, the panelists have
you made your point. You know that there are 3 more panelists. That's an interesting counterpoint. That's an interesting counterpoint, Brijesh.
Well, you know, Karthike, nobody is saying that call for change of constitution has never been made. What I am saying is that, you know, when the Congress expresses or the opposition party says that constitution mein badal denge, when you say, then, you know, you have to substantiate it by saying what all exactly do you fear is going to be changed in this constitution, which will alter the way we live and or way we experience or see the constitution right now.
Or operate this country.
Or operate it. Like, you know, is it illegal on part of a government with an absolute majority to tinker with it? Has it been done before? Yes. Has it been done several times? Yes. So what is the fear?
And,
you know,
yes, and I would like to add one more thing. A government, even without the constitution amendment, or the amendment of the constitution, is will of the parliament. Even if a government which does not have the number but has the capacity to create consensus, tell me, Bhanu, if I'm incorrect, it can go ahead and amend the constitution. Didn't Congress party take support from BJP in Rajya Sabha to pass women reservation bill?
But I think it's all again fall back to the numbers.
Numbers.
Have the numbers.
And the will of the parliament. The constitutional amendment represents will of the parliament, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think she's sort of alluding to the fact that with a 2/3 majority, which is called a special majority, there are certain things that could be done. But is Priyanka Gandhi implicitly accepting the fact that BJP is close to the 2/3 majority? Is that what she is saying? And second is, like, why take up issues that appeal only to a cream of the population? Why not take up larger substantive issues? There are actually a lot of subtext to this. Why is the Congress taking up this campaign is something that we need to discuss more. I think that they have lost the plot quite a bit, is what I feel.
And Brijesh, before I close the discussion, before I start thanking my guests, do you think it has any resonance in public? I've been asking this question that when someone says the constitution is going to be amendment, it is meant to a targeted audience.
Well, I honestly don't see.
Should I put it in context of CA?
I see CA is something which will impact
NRC is absent.
people's life directly. So there could be a vast majority, or there could be many number of people, who can be on the direct firing line of the CA and the NRC. But constitutional amendment is something which I don't honestly think that it will have any traction on the ground whatsoever, irrespective of what the opposition party think. I personally see it as a dead issue as far as this election is concerned.
Mr. Thakur, 1 minute. Do you think that this issue has a traction point? Can it generate a traction point?
Yeah, of course, it would generate a traction point because see, the vast majority of the Indian masses consider this is the constitution made by the Dr. Ambedkar, and Dr. Ambedkar is worshipped by the masses. So whenever we made this kind of change, any kind of change, if we try to make it any kind of change, then of course it will make a bigger impact on any particular party, particular prospect. Second thing, I would like to tell you, see, right now the judiciary is the only resisting institution. And if you see the clear review to all the law ministers, they're always targeting the judiciary that is a self-appointing authority.
Mr. Thakur,
so they want
I'll just reverse it because I'm falling short of time, and this question is to Mr. Nanda. Shouldn't Congress be asked this question because in their manifesto they have written that they would redistribute the wealth of the country? Can you do it without amending the constitution? Congress leaders are asking questions to the Bharatiya Janata Party that they're going to amend the constitution. You have something so fundamental in your manifesto that you're going to redistribute the wealth. Can you do that without amending the constitution, without affecting right to property? Inheritance, wealth, acquisition, so many rights.
As I just said in my, that there is a basic structure which you cannot touch. The courts are there to tell you that, sir, this is a wrong amendment you carried out. I'm sorry, this cannot stand the scrutiny of law. But to redistribute or to do anything else is a secondary question. The bigger and larger question is, can they amend it? Yes, they can amend it if the requisite majority is there and the need of the hour is for the public good. Anything can be done. There are various kinds of amendments. Like I'll just take 10 seconds of yours. There are various kinds of amendments, which one can be done through simple majority, the other can be done through absolute majority, the third one can be through the two-third majority, present and voting. But the point is, can the government do it? Yes, the government can do it if they have the requisite majority. But when will they do it? If there is a need of, if the need of the time is that the public good will be there by amending, they can do it. But redistribution of these public resources will be a very big amendment. I don't think this is the issue at the moment. I mean, misguided missiles at the moment.
Okay, thank you all of you. Thank you, Bhanu. Thank you, Dr. Sujit Thakur. Thank you, Dr. Rajiv Nanda, and thank you, Brijesh, so much for joining me on my debates.